Hi my friend, it's Pat Sloan here. So today is Summer Starlet. Here we go, up, 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 up. So the Summer Starlet Quilt Along, we are using this book and I am sewing with my porch swing fabric. So fun, so fun. And we're doing 4 blocks a week. That way it's not overwhelming. They're very easy and fun blocks to do. Some of you are kind of like, just this is your main project, so you're kind of zooming along, but this is what I'm sharing. Remember that the book has a lot of other patterns in it, and each pattern has 4 different sizes. And so there you go. So you can make it in one of 4 sizes if you want to. This is the lap. This is the lap size. Okay, so we have already done the top row. So here's the top row, and I sewed it all together, plus put the sashing that goes between them, the sashing here. So I put that on the bottom of the top row. And then we have the 3rd row, because the stars are alternated, like so that they look very scattered. So the row at the top has the same blocks as the 3rd row, but they're just in different positions, not even just rotate like that. They're in slightly different positions. And so here, right here is my 3rd row. And on this one, I put the sashing, the row sashing between it for the top and the bottom. And so also you will have made another set already, and that's these 2 stars. And so they are in this row here and then down on that row. So could you see that? Yeah, this row, right? Oh yeah, you could. Look at the monitor. Okay, so this week we are on to, I'm following along color-wise just as the rows are. So we're going to do this teal medium-sized floral and the purple medium-sized floral. So you're going to have 4 blocks this week, and you will then be able to sew those for row number 2. So there's 2 of these and 2 of these. And then you can sew row number 2. You won't be able to finish it because there's still next week's blocks. But after next week's blocks, then what do we have? We are done, right? Yeah, so after next week's blocks, we're going to go ahead and sew 4. We're just going to move along at this pace. I think it's a good pace. Those of you who are sewing along seem to be doing and handling it quite well. And we will then be able to do, after next week, all the rows, in the following week be able to work on having the top set or a catch up, like so that you can, get caught up if you are a little behind. So that's great. So we're on a super good pace for the Summer Starlet. So cute. So next week I will take it down and I'll do all this on the other side of the table. It's been just living here on this wall. I've been enjoying it immensely in my studio. Okay, we're going to go to the other side and talk about the library quilt. So before we get to the library quilt, I want to talk about Amongst the Stars, which has binding. Yes, do a huge cheer for me. I got binding on one of them. Oh, so this is so cool. I'm going to get the other camera in a minute and I'll show you the quilting that was done on it. But Amongst the Stars, we did as a quilt along, and it's using my Promise Me fabric, and it's a book from the Fat Quarter Shop. And I want to show you the book. I want to talk to you about it because it is a fabulous quilt to make if you are someone who kind of needs a formula for translating your colors into the colors done for the project as it's written in the pattern. What they did, and I'm going to show you how to use it here, is super good, so that if you love this and like you want to, if you're using my fabric or you have some other fabric you want to use, you can just sort of follow this guide that they have. So first let me just show you that so it makes sense what I'm talking about. So the book, they actually did the quilt in 2 colorways. So they did it in with a Christmassy red, and they did it in fall colors. So here is the red. So you've got like the red border and green and gray and red on the inside. So it's kind of a very tight palette. And then they did the fall colors. Isn't that beautiful? With the light orange, kind of peachy, like a dark peach, and then green and gray. So here's the deal with the formula. I think it's easy to see on this one here, is they have each of the fabrics listed. Now they do list which ones they used, but if you are doing this and you're like, okay, I need a red, so here is that red, and that's going to be the same red. And then you can see wherever there's red in here, you're going to be using the same reds that are out on these stars. So what you would do is substitute your fabric. Let's say you wanted to do purple instead. Let's say you wanted to have a purple border. Well, you would know what your purple fabric is here. Then you would know, in order to get the same balance of color that is in the pattern, you would know then that everywhere there's red, you would put purple, and you would get that same balance of color. So all these reds in the blocks would now be your purple, your different purples. Let's say you wanted to add a bit of yellow. So maybe you would say, okay, wherever there is green in this quilt, that's the amount of yellow I want to have. You know, it's just enough. And so that means the green fabrics, these three, you would have three different yellow fabrics, and then you place them, you know, as you're reading the pattern, it'll tell you where they go. Now on top of that, let's say you have the purple and you have the green. Maybe you want to do a light lavender. Maybe it's a dark purple you're using here and in here. So the light lavender, maybe it's very pale. You might substitute then all the gray for the light lavender, wherever there's gray. And then you might have a little bit of gray to go with that too. So you might be substituting some of those stars for like a lavender and some for maybe a gray print. So that's how you can use this formula. And that's basically, you can take this, if you really want to see it in action, and look at the other colorway, and you can see how it's done. You can look and see, this is orange, and there they had white. This is orange, but on here they had red. You know, so you can, you know, take a look and see how that's done. I just think it's a really great quilt for you that you can use so easily for this formula, which is a fantastic way of putting in your own fabrics to get that same look as the original one. All right, let me get the other camera and we'll do a little close-up of the quilting. I think my Promise Me fabric really turned out beautiful in this quilt because it feels very elegant. It's got the teal from the line, the black, the cream, the pink, the gray, and there's some green too. The green gives little pops of color. Look at that. Oh, look, it was so fun to fussy cut sort of around those big florals. And so the spa created and used a pattern for me, a quilting pattern that has some feathers in it. See, some feathers, and then these swirls like tendrils. Like, there we go. Like, here's some. Just so pretty. So you can see the blocks, and you can get a kit for this still. So there are still some kits left. I love this block. I love how those little like edges go out. So cute. And then they have the smaller stars and bigger stars. So it's a way to use bigger blocks and smaller blocks, which I think is such a very fun balance. All right, down at the bottom here. And then the border is spectacular. That is just so effective on this quilt. And I love it so much. Okay, there you go. So I'll link it down below to both the kits that are still left. There's still a few of those left. You might want to get in on that. And then for the book, for not my book, it's for So Emma book, that Amongst the Stars. It is really, really a cool quilt to make. And now this quilt is actually going to go visit the Fat Quarter Shop. And so I'm sending it off in the mail. Yeah. All right, I had couple things here before we go to the library quilt. First, I had a little mail call from Judy in Texas. So look, this is a perfect card. I think this is so awesome. It says, today is a really good mail day. Judy, you knocked that out of the park. That is so cute. So cute. And so she sent me super cute socks. Look at them. Look at them with the pink flamingos. A yummy Starbucks card. Mwah. And some mushrooms. Oh my goodness. I just am in love with the mushrooms again. Oh, they're so cute. Do you think there's a Liberty London fabric with mushrooms on it? I wonder. I need to still find a pattern for Liberty of London. This is not Liberty of London. This is a Benortex, but it's so, so cute. It just gives me that feel, though, that vibe, a little bit of that vibe. Thank you so much, Judy. All right, another thing I wanted to show you, just some goodies. Speaking of mail day, there are so many cute cards out there, and I picked this one up. And I'll link you to these things in the description box and at my website today. So you get better with time. Happy birthday. You get better with time. For all of you gardeners out there, especially if you like to do herbs, of course. Yeah, perfect. And then look at this cutie pie tin. It has like clips in it. So you get a bag of clips. So I just love it. I think it is so darn cute. I just had to have it. Aqua red, you know, a little cute bird on the top. Look at him. Look at him. Look how cute he is. Little bird, my bluebird of happiness. And then this is something I picked up. I'm going to start putting these on my quilt. Just a little quilty label. I picked up a variety of sizes. So I've got this group that all say made with love, or quilted with love, quilted with love. And I'm just sticking one edge in the binding and then hand stitching the other down. I'll show you on this. I should have done that before. I'll get the camera again and I'll show you. And now this group here, can't get one out. Okay, I got a bunch out. So it says, it's just got like a little quilt tag on it. It does say crafty on the back, which I thought, oh, that's kind of cute. And then I got these ones. So let me just see. I just thought it would be cute to start adding them in, particularly since these are all going to eventually go to charity. I just thought it'd be a really sweet little touch to put. This is handmade. Okay, so on one side it says handmade, and then the other side has hearts. There's red hearts and aqua hearts. So handmade. Did you see that? I was probably going too fast. Yeah. So they're a tag, you know, so you I will put it in there, but I think I might still hand stitch them down to the fabric afterwards. I think these are designed to not be stitched, you know, like a label in your clothing, you know, to just be loose. So I don't know, maybe I will leave them loose, but I was like, oh, I gotta tack it down, you know. I can't have this loose stuff hanging off the quilt. So let me just show you what I did for my very first try. It's my first try, so it's got a little issue, but it looks pretty good. So here I put it in the binding, but I got it cut off a bit of the bottom of it this time. So I have to work on that a little bit. But then I did hand stitch it all down so it's not flapping in the wind, because, you know, that just sort of bothers me. I like everything stitched down. Today is also is Fresh Veggie Day. And so I thought I would share a quilt of mine that has some veggies on it. Actually, 2 quilts of mine that have veggies on them, and then you can share your quilts with veggies on them. You might be printed fabric, like maybe you did canning jars like with veggies in them. A lot of people have done that. There's like some realistic fabrics out there, or just images. You've made images of vegetables. Okay, so let me show you my first one. This is a variation of my farmer's market. This is actually the first farmer's market that I did, and I did it years ago. Had so much fun with it. It's very bright, very cheerful, and I use all kinds of really bold fabrics for it. Now this picture is not in the book, but this is the one I did prior to the book, and it used it for for some other things, and then finally remade it for the book. But I wanted to show you this one because I don't often get this one out. I also had the where is it? The donut box. Where's my donut box? Oh yeah, the donuts in the donut box are in the middle there, because this is a farmer's market quilt, and my granny always had all the baked goods from the farmer's market. Let me show you the backing. This big print is an Amy Butler print from many years ago. So I loved doing this one with all the crazy colors and, you know, really bold fabrics. I just love working like that. But it's not the kind of thing you put in a book, you know. So I redid it when I did that book. and I'll link you below to that. Okay, the other one is one that I did to go with a fabric line called Eat Your Fruits and Veggies. So it was one of my fabric lines called Eat Your Fruits and Veggies, and this was a block of the month done at quilt shops. And I since reprinted or printed a couple of the blocks. Maybe someday I'll do others, maybe not. You know, sometimes you just move on from things, and this is an applique quilt. So I'm gonna, you know what I think I'm gonna do? I'm going to just hang it up on the hanger there for a moment. No, I'll just hold it. I don't want to take the time to do that. All right, so it has a lot of parts to it. It was, like I said, a block of the month just done for quilt shops, and the company who printed it has since closed. They retired, and so, you know, it's been out of print for quite a long time. But you might occasionally see somebody who's made one. So the bike block down, let me just hold the bottom half up. So the bike block down at the bottom, I made into a single pattern because I just thought it was so cute. But there's cabbages and tomatoes and peppers and canning jars and sweet peas. Just so fun. And then the backing is from the fabric line. So yeah, that was super cool. That was super cool to do. Very fun to do. So now show me over at my Facebook group, Quilt Along with Pat Sloan, show me your quilts with veggies on it, either images or the fabric has veggies on it. Now on to the library quilt. Let me just shift this guy over. We're doing my library quilt together from my Holiday Hoopla book, and let me just hold this up. I'll hold it to the side here so you can see it. So here is the original that is in the book, and I was looking for some, you know, last week's assignment for me anyway was to find some sort of shelf fabric, and I had 2 different, you know, weeks there where I was hunting and finally found the stripe here, the beige stripe that I've had a really long time, and it is just perfect. For me, it is just exactly what I wanted. So let me just show you a couple things with it head on so we can talk about it. Before I sewed it, I went ahead and just laid it up here to be sure everything looks good and to check it over. But what I did notice, and you should really look at this, is for some reason right there the seams are coming apart a little bit, coming loose. So I will stitch those 2 back up before I put the border on, or the sashing on rather. So there they are. Gonna get those done, and then the sides. So when I cut the stripes for this, I tried to keep them very straight so that they, you know, didn't sort of curve up or anything. And then for the verticals, I kept that wider piece right here about the same distance on each one. It's not perfect, but it's close enough visually with those squares so that that stripe works like that. And then the design, the pattern design just has the little corners here. I don't know, when I designed it, I thought that looked like what I wanted to do. You certainly could change them out for the other 4 corners as well, but I kind of like how those work. It's just a little bit different, and I do think that cream stripe just is perfect with the border and all the different fabrics from that Beautiful Day line by Deb Strain. So I also think I might take the binding, flip it so that the stripes are like all horizontal, and do a stripe binding on it with that. I don't have enough of this fabric. I only have a fat quarter and it's older to do binding. I don't think I could squeeze it out, but I think I'll do the stripe. So there you go. That's the plan. I'm going to get this all, well, from here up. From there up, I can get it sewn. Those 3 pieces will wait till I finish the bottom row, and we do that next week. That is really coming along nicely. I love the balance of everything. The next thing next week is I am going to get like the whole lower level done. I don't know if I'm going to add any other little shelf things. Maybe I will. I wasn't really loving a lot of the options. I have to look at something else. I have a cat and a dog from one of the applique, from one of the patterns that we did, the sew-alongs we did. So I'm going to see if I can sort of finagle that in there for next week. And then after that, we'll be putting the border on. Then I will send it to the spa to be finished. Okay, also I want to show you the backing on this before we go. So I use from Promise Me the really large floral. So there we go. Gotta get the full effect here. Here we go. Oh, okay, I'm hitting my board. There we go. Gotta get it around there. So look at that. This is so gorgeous. These great big bouquets, and it comes in several different colors, navy, pink, black. So you can pick one that works for your quilt. So if you're doing some other quilt with My Promise Me, be sure to get the wide back, or you can use it for any other quilt that you're doing. So, okay. All right, my friend. I love you. Mwah. Thank you for being here in the Sloan Zone. I will see you online.